Hi, my name is Michelle Pais, and here are the 7 stages to the home buying process. For those of you who saw my last video, I talked about the 5 steps to the home buying process. Now I talk about the 7 stages, and these are really the stages that you need to know once you are officially in contract, your offer has been accepted, and now what do? So here they are. The first stage is the attorney review stage. This is a very important stage. There are a lot of misconceptions out there that you have 3 days for the attorney review process. In fact, that is not true. You have 3 business days to get into the attorney review process. And the clock starts the second that seller signs that contract. Now remember, you have 3 days to hire an attorney and get it into attorney review. Once you are in attorney review, that time frame can take anywhere between an hour, a week, a month, and that's an extreme. It shouldn't take you that long. However, this is so important to you because during the attorney review stage, anything can happen, meaning the seller can decide to change their mind. There could be another buyer that comes in with a much better offer, meaning there's no binding of the parties until you're officially out of attorney review. My piece of advice to you is, if you are serious and committed about this house, please make sure that you let your attorney know that he should really try to push the attorney review period forward in a timely fashion. You want to get out of attorney review sooner rather than later because you want to be committed. So while you're in attorney review, remember, there's really no commitment. You want to get out as soon as possible to protect your deal. So get in and get out. The second stage is the earnest deposit money stage. During this stage, once you're officially out of attorney review, depending upon the contract, now it's time to put your deposit monies into an escrow account. You typically would write a check to either your attorney or the seller's attorney, sometimes even the realtor, depending upon the contract of sale. Now, keep in mind as well that during attorney review, a lot of things change. So just because you have a contract of sale originally written up by the realtor with certain dates, that may change after your attorney reviews that. So keep in mind the time frame. Typically, I've seen contracts where once you're out of attorney review, your earnest deposit money is due immediately. I've also seen contracts where the seller is giving you up to 10 days. Either way, know your timeline and make sure that your deposit monies are in a timely fashion, because if they are not, then you can be in breach, and that may also affect the sale. The buyer may very well be at risk of losing the home simply because they didn't put their deposit monies in escrow in a timely fashion. The third stage is the due diligence stage. Such an important stage. So when you are a buyer and you're done with attorney review, your deposit monies are in, typically the seller will give you anywhere between 5 to 14 days to perform your due diligence. Now, what is part of that due diligence? Your home inspection, your tank sweep, or property sweep. You want to make sure the property is swept and free of any potential oil tanks or abandoned septic tanks. Also part of your due diligence, you want to make sure you look at the survey or request a survey, order a survey, and that's typically done by your attorney. You want to know what your property line is, what you can build if you decide that this is something that you want to build on in the future. So it's very important to get a survey of the property. You also want to do your due diligence as far as open permits. Call the town. Find out if there's any open permits on the property, because this too may affect the resale and the current sale of the home. It's so important that you call the tax assessor as well and find out if the taxes that are represented on the MLS are accurate taxes. Now, if it is a brand new construction, oftentimes the taxes that you see listed are not the actual accurate taxes. These taxes are based on the previous home, which could have been a small 1,000 square foot home. So please keep in mind that you need to double check with the township assessor's office to make sure that you have the accurate taxes, the most recent taxes for the home that you are purchasing. And the final part of all of this is you want to make sure the home is not in a flood zone. Such an important factor when purchasing a home. Homes in flood zones typically affect value, and in addition, depending if it's on a low risk or high risk flood area, that will most likely require an additional flood insurance required by the lender if you are mortgaging this home. So please make sure you do your due diligence. Again, on the actual contract of sale, you'll have the actual time frame for your due diligence. You want to make sure that your due diligence is done within that time frame. My recommendation to you is begin your due diligence immediately after you're out of attorney review, because in the event that you take longer to do your due diligence and your attorney doesn't request an extension, that may limit the potential of asking for anything further from the seller. For example, something may come up. There may be a structural issue with the home where now during this phase, you're gonna have to go out and hire a structural engineer. These things take time. And the worst thing you can possibly do is go into contract, have a home inspection, just to find out that you ran out of time to ask for any repair requests or credits. So please follow your timeline. The fourth stage of the home buying process is the appraisal stage. Now, part of every contract of purchase, if you are in fact financing, you have a mortgage contingency clause in that contract. What does that mean? The bank that you are moving with is responsible for hiring a third-party independent appraisal. This person will come out during this phase and appraise the home. So before the bank issues you a firm and final mortgage commitment, they want to make sure that the home is worth the value that you're willing to pay for it. This is a very, very important. What you don't want to do is you don't want to wait to have your appraisal. The next stage is the mortgage commitment stage. Now, I've seen contracts where the mortgage commitment is typically due anytime between 3 weeks to 30 days. So that means the clock starts ticking the second you're officially out of attorney review. You have typically 30 days to make sure that the lender provides you with a firm mortgage commitment. And if you're waiting on the appraisal, or if the appraisal is delayed, that may affect the mortgage commitment being in on time. Now keep in mind that if you feel, or if your lender feels that they need more time to get the mortgage commitment for you, your attorney must request an extension. Failure to do so could cause you to potentially be in breach, and again, you're at the risk of losing the deal. The next stage of the home buying process is your final walkthrough / transfer of utilities / ordering your insurance. So this stage, typically your realtor will assign and schedule you a final walkthrough of the property. This is typically done the morning of closing or the day before closing. Now, what to expect during a final walkthrough? Very simple. You walk through the house, you make sure that the house is in its original condition that you first saw it in when you first went out and made an offer on the property. It is the seller's responsibility to make sure that the home is free and clear of any personal belongings. The home has to be kept in broom clean condition. Also, during the final walkthrough stage, you want to make sure that if there were any repair requests made by you to the homeowner, you want to make sure those were done as well. Simultaneously, once you have a closing date and a closing time, Don't forget to order the utilities, especially if you're purchasing a home that is an as-is sale or a bank-owned property. You don't want to walk into a home with absolutely no utilities. So schedule the transfer. Your realtor can assist you with that as well. And of course, your insurance. Now, most lenders, part of their mortgage contingency clause or commitment clause is that you need to provide them with proof of insurance. So please don't forget to do that. If the home is in a flood zone, you'll need 2 insurances. You'll need a homeowner's insurance and also a flood insurance. The last and final stage is the closing. Very exciting. You are now ready to become an official homeowner. During this step, you're meeting with your attorneys. You're making sure that all the terms of the mortgage that you agree to are exactly what they're supposed to look like on paper. All your closing costs are accurate. Your interest rates are accurate. Don't forget to read the fine print before you sign on the dotted line. During this time, the deed gets transferred from the seller into your name. Congratulations on becoming a new homeowner. My name is Michelle Pais. Thank you so much for watching this video. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.